First concert ever was in Chicago at the Ravenna with my parents, and it was Peter, Paul, and Mary. So it was like one of those shows where you bring a blanket and a picnic, and it was, yeah, I mean, I still remember it. I must have been like 4 or 5 years old, but it was one of the best shows.
And did you do, was that a tradition? I mean, did you end up going to a lot of music with your family?
Yeah, I mean, my family's all, my parents and my brothers were, growing up, we were all into music a lot, and so it was one of those things that was like a fun pastime. And we moved from Chicago to California, and when we moved to the Bay Area, kind of near Shoreline and the Concord Pavilion, and like, so there's a lot of music around us. Went and saw Tom Petty with my parents. That was awesome. So yeah, I mean, we would do it quite a bit. I mean, until I got to the age really where I could do it with my friends, and then I think that was kind of the turning point of seeing shows without them.
Do they come to shows with you now, with music with you?
Like, to see us play, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they came tonight, which was great. It's tough when if we're playing at a late night show, it's hard to get them out, and plus I'm always like, oh, don't worry about it, I don't want them to stay out too late, but being a Saturday night, early show, like, they always try to come if they can, so yeah, they're big supporters.
Now, would they go to, like, with you to see music you liked when you were older?
No, not as much, because I think that they probably don't like a lot of the music that I would like now. I mean, there are some overlapping bands, and I mean, I live in LA, they live in the Bay Area, they live in Alameda, and so there's not a lot of times that I'm home that it would make sense, oh, there's this great band playing. I would rather, when I'm home, just spend time at home with them. But there are some overlapping bands that, like, if there were enough time, I'd love to bring them to see. My mom loves folk music, so she loves harmonies and stuff, so I would take her to see, like, First Aid Kit. She loves Beach House, actually, so that's like a show I've been wanting to take her to.
What newer bands would you recommend that maybe parent-age people would enjoy that maybe they've sort of written off going to music?
I mean, I really love, I mean, Alt J's band, or their record was one of my favorite records when it came out, and I actually think that, like, it can be enjoyed by a huge range of people. Maybe not at first listen, but, like, it's really rhythmic, and, like, I feel like it has a bit of a timeless quality to it, the songwriting. So Alt J, sort of in that same vein, I think, like, Local Natives is a great band that, like, I think is super energetic. They're fantastic live. Let's see. Like I mentioned, you know, First Aid Kit and Beach House are both bands that, like, I think can be, because there's like a softness to both those, but also there's a kind of a coolness that younger people.
Any last things to add about families going together to shows now? Do you see that much?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I don't think I see it a ton at, like, club shows and bar shows, because just of, like, the nature of any social situation, it's like at a certain age you stop doing things with your parents, but anytime I see it, it's very heartwarming. I think it's really beneficial, just like, because for me, like, going to shows is one of my favorite things to do, and I think if parents like doing that too, it can create a unique kind of experience and bond for the family that I think is fantastic. Like, if I'm ever a parent, I definitely want to bring my kids, you know? My brother is actually a parent. He has a 7-year-old and a 14-year-old, and he's a musician too, and they're at every show. They bring him to every show they go to, so it's actually, like, a pretty good example of what you're talking about. And I see only positive things from there, and the kids are going to grow up and, like, be really into music and more intellectual about it, and I'm sure that when they're at the age where they can go on their own, they'll still probably bring my brother and his wife too.